day 5 of the 11:11, where I attempt to talk for 11 minutes and 11 seconds without script and without editing or minimal editing about whatever comes to mind. Today, what's on my mind is actually something that I kind of need to pick up again. A journey that I've been going through with my neurodivergence that started, it's been here on my entire life, but I only started looking into it maybe 2 years ago. And so I was diagnosed last year with ADHD, not quite a full year ago yet. Combined type. I'm not on any medication for it, but having somebody, I think I knew, because I would read things or watch things and be like, yeah, I do that, or yeah, I have that. And I know, by the way, there's this gorgeous light just here. I love winter sun when it's just kind of really bright, and if I move that way, I will get completely overexposed. But I know, I'm like a cat. I just want to feel a bit of that winter sun on me. So, about a year ago, just under a year ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I knew because I'd been reading and watching and relating to all of these people who were getting late diagnoses. And so I knew, but there's also been a lot of bad press or cruelty, or you're not and everyone's trying to be, and I feel like it makes me a bit sad, but I feel like I did want the validation of a diagnosis, and I got that, and it was a relief. It was a relief because if not this, then what the actual what? If it's not that, then what is it? Because it is something. There is something going on with my wiring. There always has been. I guess there just wasn't, I didn't have the literacy around it until more recently, until more awareness has been made around it. And also, going through perimenopause, just so much has been changing within me, so many things going on, so many things coming to the boil. So what actually happened was probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I don't know, time is elastic, isn't it? I went to my doctor, went to my GP, and I said, look, I think I'd like to be assessed for ADHD and autism. And she sent me home with some questionnaires to fill out, and I love a questionnaire. I do love me a questionnaire, and I'd probably already filled in loads of these questionnaires, absolutely loads. So I went home quite happily, I'm going to fill in these. It's like personality quizzes, isn't it? I'll fill these in. And on my way home, I remembered that I also meant to mention my OCD, intrusive thoughts. And I forgot because ADHD. Anyway, so I thought, no matter, I will research an approved OCD form and fill that in and drop it back in with the other 2 forms and say, oops, by the way, also this. So that's what I did. So my GP then got 3 completed questionnaires from me, 1 ADHD, 1 autism, and 1 OCD. And not long after I dropped them off, she gave me a call. She was like, hi, wanted to talk to you about these forms. I've spoken to a psychiatrist, and they've looked at these, and they've said to me that first and foremost, we ought to really look at your OCD. She did ask me more questions about my OCD and how it presented, what kind of intrusive thoughts these were, how they made me feel, what I did. And then she said that the psychiatrist recommended that we treat the OCD first, because it can mask or present or confuse, I can't remember the exact words that she used, the other, the autism and the ADHD. They can get interwoven and confused. So let's try and this is definite, it's definitely can see that this person has OCD and the intrusive thoughts, and here's an easy treatment for it. So she prescribed me fluoxetine, which is essentially Prozac, and me being me, I was very resistant. I was like, no, I don't know if I want to take this. I was worried that it would change my personality. You just hear stuff and sort of think, I don't want it to actually change my personality. I don't want to become flatlined as a human being. And also I was just worried about becoming addicted, and which is really funny, because if I think about other things that I've put into my body over the years, that were much less researched by me and much more dangerous, certainly, including alcohol, which I no longer put any of that stuff in my body. But so it took me a while. It took me probably about 8 months to be like, okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to see what happens. And I did, and it's been great. So I was on that for a while, and then I was like, no, do you know what? I still feel like I need to explore the ADHD and the autism. So I went back to my GP, spoke to her again, we started this whole procedure over again, and I had to do the forms again, and she said, yeah, you do meet the threshold for referral, and she told me about the right to choose pathway. So went on the right to choose pathway, and about 6 months later, I had a telephone appointment, a video call appointment with a lovely doctor for my ADHD. And I felt very comfortable and relaxed in her screen presence. And she was a very good listener and very good observer. And anyway, she very kindly at the end of that was like, this is not my official report, but I can tell you that I do think that you probably, I'm going to have to write up my assessment, but yes, you probably do have ADHD, the combined type, and I would be very surprised if you didn't also have autism. You have some autism markers. But I am not doing your autism assessment, that would be somewhere else, but I will communicate to that team my observations. So I was like, great. I think I cried tears of relief after that, because I felt so seen by her. I felt so seen and understood by her. And then, sure enough, the report came through, and it was as she had said, ADHD combined type. And what am I doing with that knowledge? Really, I'm making accommodations for myself, but it does also make me, and this might happen to you if you're thinking of going and getting this, going down this journey as well for your own neurodivergence. If you're getting diagnosed late in life, it does make you sort of go back and reevaluate everything in your own life, and if we had known then, what could have been different? If we had known then, how might things be different? And that can bring up a lot of emotions. It certainly brought up a lot of emotions for me, like anger, resentment. But I will say that the overriding thing was just relief. Okay, this is what it is. I recognize this, and I'm going to try to learn to work with it and not against myself, and to forgive myself for a lot of stuff that I just assumed I was a bad human. about. But the autism journey was not quite as straightforward, and that's something that I need to go back to this year. It's like, it's been really hard. It's been really hard to accept what I was told in the autism assessment report, not least of which because there were so many inaccuracies. But, trying to unpack that, to deal with it emotionally, and then get ready, gear up to go again. I need to go again. And do I go private? Do I go NHS? I can't afford to go private, so I guess it's NHS, and it's another huge long waiting list. Anyway, clearly I've got more to say about this, as I suspected that I might do, than I can fit into 11 minutes and 11 seconds. So this is part 1 of the neurodivergence 1111. Thank you.